All right, so where do we start? What do you want to start with? What's the most pressing topic for you? We have a lot of things that we're unhappy with.
A lot of things that we got to go through. Relationships in general and modern day feminism. There's a lot of room to cover, so we might as well start with the basics.
Yeah. Modern day feminism. I don't know which year. I feel like even as early as probably like 2005, 2010 in Sweden is when it started getting like really like radical. Yeah. The type of the level of feminism that you would see in other Western countries like Holland or like the US or even like Germany, these type of things. We were like 20 years ahead with the insanity.
Yeah.
So like I grew up in that shit.
And I feel like that's a compound interest. Like it's a lot worse now. And every year it gets a lot worse than the previous year. I would say around COVID time, it got really out of hand.
You mean in the US?
In the US generally and the rest of the world. Then it spread across all the Western countries in Europe as well. Yeah. Because I feel like feminism, it used to stand for something completely different than it does right now. And it used to be about women having equal rights, and it used to be about unity, and now it's not about equality anymore, it's about superiority. Women's soccer, for example. What do you think about women's soccer?
I mean, I do know exist. Well, actually, I do know it exists in Sweden, but it's one of those things that like no one watches. But I think it's there. It's almost as a you know, when you're like 6 years old and you're like everyone is like a sport competition. Everyone gets like a prize.
Right.
I feel like this is like, I feel like it exists because people feel bad. Like that is genuinely what I feel.
What do you think about the wage gap though?
About the wage gap?
Yeah.
Well, I think it makes sense. And I think there should be a wage gap.
Yeah.
I think there should be a wage gap because your salary should be 100% dependent on your competency.
Right.
Should be 100% dependent on your competency. So look, if you're a woman and you get paid less, it is probably because you do deserve to get paid less. There has never been any solid proof of an actual wage gap where where equally qualified people were being paid, significantly different. There will be wage gaps between men as well. There will be,
definitely.
It's not the most skilled people who make the most money always. It's definitely not.
Here's the funny part. While these women, these feminists are complaining about the wage gap between like men's soccer and women's soccer, for example, actually, when you compare the two ratios of how much men's soccer generates in revenue.
Yeah. It's about the fucking revenue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you look at women's soccer when even the women themselves are not interested in watching it. They actually get a much higher cut from the overall raised revenue compared to men. Yeah. We have all these, we live in Poland. People go crazy over soccer, right? There's like the Champions League, you have whatever. They watch that stuff all day. Yeah. And actually from that cut, male soccer players get around 18% compared to women that get up to like 38, 40%. And they still complain about the wage gap. I mean, it's just funny to me. Like, should we complain about the wage gap between male OnlyFans models and the female OnlyFans models?
Yeah.
When they complain that women are getting paid less, I'm like, if that's true, if a man and a woman is equally qualified, and if the companies could just hire women and just pay them less, why don't we just do that? Why don't we hire all women?
It's still fair regardless, even if men would get paid much more, because women can have multiple orgasms. we cannot have that at the end of the day.
Let's be real here for everybody complaining about it. Usually, men choose jobs that demand more physically, emotionally. I mean, you look at all the roughneck. Like, what percentage of roughneck workers are females? How many female construction workers do you see? How many females work in coal mines?
It's very easy to just blame the system that, fuck, the patriarchy, they're conspiring against me. I can't make as much as a man. When you can actually, in fact, just improve your skills so you can make more money. But a lot of people, they don't want to do it that way because that involves taking responsibility. That's not only like a woman thing, but people have a tendency to blame things, to externalize blame so they don't have to take the responsibility. And I feel like a lot of things that feminism complains about It's exactly that. Like they're just being victims.
I think it's a coping mechanism, really, because let's say there's a guy who's struggling financially and there's a girl who's struggling financially. The girl gets to say, all right, fuck it, I'm dropping out of school, I'm becoming an OnlyFans model.
Yeah.
She can make up to like 20K a month. A guy can't do that.
Yeah.
He can't just become a male stripper. He can't just,
Yeah.
you know, like your average looking girl can just start an OnlyFans.
Actually, maybe we could.
And, I mean, we could, but we're talking about, all right, let's talk about an average looking girl. All right, an average looking girl can start an OnlyFans, and these fat old simps will still pay her. She's still gonna make a lot of money. An average looking guy has no chance on OnlyFans.
I think the worst thing with feminism that is most damaging is that it brings women away from their feminine nature and forces them into a more masculine frame, like a more masculine role. It becomes almost like a societal pressure where they need to be independent. They need to be strong and like all these things. And I feel like that's a lot where the confusion comes in. And I think that's where it's damaging. Like, of course, like there should be like equal rights and all this stuff. Like we all know this. Like,
but there is equal rights. That's the problem. Can you name something that a man can do that a woman can't right now in 2025 in like civilized countries? They can vote, they can work. We have the same conditions pretty much everywhere. So when you're talking about women's rights, like what exactly?
Well, we still can't have multiple orgasms, but we can have all the rights.
Can have multiple women.
Yeah, well, that's actually a thing in Sweden. Like, you know, in other countries we have like the slut shame thing. For example, like in Ukraine. You know, like if you're a village girl in Ukraine, you know, there's a lot of pressure. Like you don't go fuck like 10, 20 guys.
Yeah.
Whereas in Sweden we have the opposite. We have slut pride.
Really?
Yeah, oh, dude, it's kind of funny actually. So I grew up with that. So it's a society where there's no social backlash at all for, you know, for women expressing their sexuality in whatever way that might be. So she could go fuck 30 guys and everyone's like clapping for her.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's encouraged. They call it empowering when a woman has like multiple bodies, which in reality she just loses part of her soul and she's never going to be the same after that. It's quite sad actually. And you can see that. You can see a horrific decline in natural testosterone levels in men. 2025 compared to even just 80 years ago.
It's rock bottom.
That's crazy.
It's rock bottom. But you know, like they don't even have to get tested. You can just see what they look like. No, you just look at them. You look at. So there are a couple of different things. You see their body composition. You can see kind of if they have like wide shoulders or not. If they have a V-taper or not. Most of the time they look like a fucking pizza dough. Like very timid behavior, very very people pleasing, very very approval seeking. The thing is that these guys, they literally do become invisible. They do fade into like background characters. They literally become NPCs. And that's what I think. The entire like NPC-ism is literally just low testosterone. I genuinely believe that's the case. Why do you think their T levels are so fucking low these days? What do you think happened there?
I mean, dude, think about everything that naturally increases your testosterone production. About all the physical activity, lifting heavy weights. All right, let's compare a man from 400 years ago and a man right now. What difference do you see? The man in 2025, he gets to be lazy. He gets to get fat, lay on a couch. I don't know how much people spend on their phones daily, like 8 hours, 9 hours a day.
Yeah. How many hours do you spend?
They have this, what?
How many hours do you spend?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I spend a lot on my phone too, but it's not for like doom scrolling or, you know, like I don't just go and watch reels on Instagram. I spend a lot of time on my phone because I work. Yeah. Right. I trade like, all right, there's a New York session. I'm stuck on my phone for an hour. Yeah. And then there's, all right, my drop shipping store. I'm on my phone. And then there's like other business methods. I work with AI. So I do spend a lot of time on my phone, but I make sure I compensate for that.
I also spend a lot of time on my phone. Spend many hours. But I liked what you said because it's all about producing. It's not about consuming anything whatsoever. So like maybe I fucking clock in 5-6 hours, but not a single minute is spent fucking doom scrolling. Unless maybe you send me a reel or something.
I mean, dude, you can excuse spending 5 hours on your phone. I mean, you live a different lifestyle than a lot of guys who do the same thing. You know, you don't spend 5 hours on TikTok just watching girls and their stupid dances on TikTok. You actually work on your phone.
Exactly. I mean, you too.
That's the thing about your phone. When you ask me about the phone, I always say this thing, your phone. This can become your best friend in life. This can make you a shit ton of money. This is all you need to make millions of dollars. This is all you need. This and a Wi-Fi connection. This and internet. But this can also be your downfall. If you're using your phone, if you're stuck on it, if you're not a producer, if you're more of a consumer, if it just keeps you attached to it and just glued to your face all day, and then you just seek, I don't know, cheap dopamine on your phone, and you just sit on it all day watching TikToks, then it's going to be your downfall.
It's all about which dopamine relationship you develop with your phone. Because, you know, fuck, don't you get a massive dopamine hit every time you post something? Or like you make some fucking money from the crypto, or you know, you have like a faceless video brain rot someone, you get a dopamine hit. Yeah.
I mean, that's it, but I'm telling you, dopamine is also sort of like a drug. Because you can, people also get different types of dopamines on their phones. Like they just go on their phone and watch porn, and they get dopamine from that too.
Yeah.
There's a good type of dopamine.
It's not productive. It's not productive. That's the thing. Yeah. When I think about like dopamine addictions, unhealthy dopamine addictions, the first thing that comes to my mind is like women who are, you know, addicted to like toxic guys. What's your opinion on toxic guys? Because the thing is, most of the times when women describe to me the toxic guy, I'm like, yeah, he sounds like a cool guy, I'd probably be friends with him.
The reason they say he's toxic is the same reason that they're attracted to the guy. Another sad reality that we have, because that's how it works. It's like a cycle. Women chase guys who are not interested in them, and guys chase girls that are not interested in them. If I wasn't toxic, if I was giving you all my attention, there was an abundance of it, you would just lose interest in me.
Yeah. But see, that's not even you being toxic.
Yeah,
that's her having a validation addiction.
Exactly.
She can't sit alone by herself and be completely fine and completely happy. She needs your validation, essentially her dopamine. So you have become her TikTok in a way. She is brain rot doom scrolling like your attention. That's what she's trying to get, more or less.
But that's the thing. if I'm her TikTok, if she gets to have TikTok 10 hours a day, she can just swipe off, get bored, and switch to Instagram instead. But if you set a timer, you know, these parental like timers they have on the phones for kids to make sure like your kid doesn't watch TikToks longer than an hour. So you can say like as soon as the timer's out, boom, the app closes itself and no more TikTok, and the kid starts crying. That's the girl. That's the girl. So if you only have like an hour a day, that's my attention span that I can spare to you, then it becomes more valuable. Then she's gonna think, okay, next time she goes on TikTok, oh, I only have an hour on this app, I should probably do something more productive, and I should do more of what I like, compared to, okay, whatever, I have access to this app 24 hours, 7, I'm just gonna...
It's just like a massive opportunity cost to put a lot of time on them. Yo, women, like, I'm sorry, I love you all, but like, it's a fucking opportunity cost. Let's compare it to, for example, if you invest 1 hour into your business, or if you invest 1 hour into the gym, or even 1 hour into, you speak Russian, or in Ukrainian, so 1 hour into languages. Those are compounding over time. Exactly. It's not just like you throw your money in and it's gone forever. Exactly. You know, like it compounds every fucking day. Versus if you invest time into a girl, most of the time, look, if she's not the mother of your kids, it's not a compounding investment. So it is by default a waste of time.
I'd say some people in life are assets and some people are liabilities. And when it comes to your partner, your partner choice is one of the most important choices that you're ever gonna make. It's a life decision, it's also a business decision. Because this girl is gonna be with you through it all. You know, like she's gonna be with you when you're making a lot of money, she's gonna be with you maybe while you're financially struggling too. So you have to consider all the facts, and you have to have a vision of how you see things going with this girl when it's like this and when it's like that. So some people are assets, some people are liabilities. You have to make sure. And I would also say, before you find the girl, you need to seek your purpose in life. And if there's any single men out there who are not where they want to be in life yet, and they're thinking about girls, that shouldn't be your priority. Your purpose should be your priority, because it's okay to lose girls and lose people, lose friends when you're chasing your purpose, that's fine. But it's not fine the other way around. You can't lose your purpose chasing a girl. You can't lose your purpose due to your other friends that are dragging you down, making bad life decisions. You need to separate yourself from that. Chase your purpose, get to where you want to be in life first, and then you will have thousands of options.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree with you. That's exactly what I'm saying, by the way, is if it's not someone that you see yourself, you know, spending a lot of time with, it is by definition a waste of time because it's not compounding. To the last thing you said there, we'll go as far as to say that you are supposed to lose people. Like, it's what's supposed to happen. You're not supposed to stay with the same people for like 20 years or 30 years. Because look, you're all going to develop, hopefully, and they might not be in the same direction.
It's part of the journey. I mean, your way to the top, losing people is literally part of the journey. It's part of the game. That's why they say, like, anybody can get rich. That's true. Anybody could be successful, but not everybody is rich and successful. You are going to lose people, and you have to be okay with that.
The more you learn and the more you develop, in a way, it becomes easier to connect to people because you understand people better. You just have better people skills, so that becomes easier. But it becomes really hard to find people that you really resonate with. Because there are very few on that, like, should you say frequency or something like that, but...
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's a good sign.
It's
a good sign. That means you're a minority.
Yeah.
And look, you're rare.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it very logically. If 99% of people are fucking NPCs, we're not supposed to. Like, we're just not supposed to relate. How many percentage of people like voted for Kamala?
It's crazy for me to imagine that almost 50% of the population in the United States voted for Kamala. I mean, it's weird because these people don't exist in my world. Like, I can't imagine anybody in my surrounding saying, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. I mean, most of the time when these street reporters ask these people, why are you voting for Kamala? What's our biggest achievement? They don't even know what to say.
They say, I don't like Trump. That's usually like the main argument, I don't like Trump.
You know, another thing is, this is just a theory, of course. Imagine both parties answer to the same people on top. That's why there's two parties and two parties only. And these two parties are so opposite from each other. It's like black and white. Donald Trump, exact opposite of Kamala Harris. That's why there's only two parties. Why? Divide and conquer. As long as you put people on two opposite sides and they just keep fighting amongst themselves, and they're going to be fully unaware of falsely created divisions because they're just too busy, you know, fighting amongst themselves. So
that's a very interesting thing, because if we go back to the topic we previously talked about, it's exactly as you're saying. It's black or white. It's either love and hate.
Yeah.
And I think that also happens the more you develop yourself too, is that you become much more comfortable just saying exactly what you mean, unfiltered. And people will either love that or they will fucking hate that.
Exactly.
So that's why also, like, I think less people will like you, but infinitely more will respect you. But I also do think that definitely, like, you just relate to way less.
Divide and conquer. It's just two opposites. It's like you're either black or white. And whenever you say something that's actually authentic, it's like, hey, I'm neither black nor white. I am purple. And people can't deal with it.
They're like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
They're so confused.
That's exactly what people need to do, because they're so busy. They're, I don't know, too narrow-minded. They don't just take a step back, breathe out, and look at the full picture. All right, we have a lot of people in Western Europe that complain about illegal immigrants, right? Obviously, I don't think one religion is worse than the other. I just think that it is a fact that sometimes, especially extremists, in some situations, these two people put in the same environment, they don't get along well for reasons. But instead of fighting each other, instead of, I don't know, protesting each other, they don't just take a step back and ask, okay, like, we don't get along well with these people, these illegal immigrants from third world countries and all the people coming here, staying here for free with my taxpayer money. Yeah, we don't like them, but who's letting them in? who's letting all this happen. They don't just take a step back and look up. You know, like
like
all the other guys are laughing at them, like people on top. It's like, keep fighting.
At the end of the day, you can't blame them because they're just doing like. If I were them, I would do the same thing. Like I'm not gonna fucking lie. I would also try to come to Europe or to the US, like of course, but. Fuck, like it's you fuckers who are voting for this, and that actually brings me back to feminism because let's talk about feminism again.
Right.
In Sweden, women disproportionately vote for illegal immigration, and we now have the highest rates of rape in the world, I believe.
Yeah.
Which literally means that women voted their way into their misery in Sweden. Yeah. They literally voted for the worst possible situation they could have. If women didn't have the right to vote, hear me out. If women didn't have the right to vote, we wouldn't have this problem in Sweden.
About to get banned, bro. We're about to get banned. But all right, it's a reality. All right, let's face the reality. We're talking about work and wage gap first. I mean, it's the same exact story, all right? If all women stopped working tomorrow, we would function fine. We would keep going. If all men stopped working tomorrow, people would die.
Yeah.
Life would stop. And it would just be a ghost town. Like, that's it.
Yeah, except like my Starbucks baristas. Like,
what's their pronouns? What's their gender? The purple hair.
I don't know. They don't have that yet here in Poland. So you can still go to Starbucks here. They don't have this fucking obnoxious like the iPad that they like flip to you and like
the tipping culture.
Yeah, like the tipping thing. Yeah. Like every time I'm at Starbucks in the US, I press 0 and I make eye contact with them, press 0. They're expecting me to just give them money for fucking standing there and having blue hair.
Exactly. She's looking at me like I'm the reason she spent 4 years of her life getting a bachelor's degree only to end up working behind a bar, making me frappuccino in the morning. Like I'm the reason for that. No, I don't have to. That's the thing. Tips are, I mean, I always tip, but yeah, I don't tip the purple-haired Starbucks.
No, but it's because they're fucking entitled. You can see on their face they're expecting it.
Another example of people just fighting amongst themselves instead of just taking a step back and realizing what's really going on. So all these Starbucks baristas, all those DoorDash drivers, but they get mad when you don't tip at DoorDash delivery. You know, they're like, like that's my only source of income. Like I don't make money. I'm like, yeah, but that's a problem. Yeah. That's something that you got to take up with your employer. Yeah, like not me. Like I'm not. Tips are not mandatory. They're optional.
Exactly. Like your boss needs to improve his business model, or you need to buy his crypto course. You don't never have to worry about the fucking tips again.
Have you ever dated a crazy chick?
I mean, I've seen a lot of them. Let me just say that like some of them, they can be so crazy that they would have the capacity to really fuck up your life.
Yeah. That's
like,
true.
In the most like fucked up and twisted ways that, us men, we don't have enough estrogen in our brain to even brainstorm these ideas to fuck your life up.
Yep.
She does, because she also has like probably serotonin, dopamine problems.
Operate on emotions, bro. Like, exactly, we're logical creatures.
Do you have a story about a crazy bitch?
I have many stories. There's a reason I also stay away from the crazy ones. But here's the thing. It has a direct correlation with how hot she is. Mm-hmm. That's my theory. So if a girl is super hot, like 10 out of 10, if she looks, I don't know, if she looks something like Margot Robbie, then she gets to be Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. So there's a direct correlation. If she's super hot, she can get away up to an extent with being crazy and a total psycho. Or on the other hand, if she's completely unattractive, she needs to be the sweetest girl ever. If you're fat, then you gotta be as sweet as your blood sugars.
Yeah. If you're a nutritionally undisciplined woman, you can't get away with being. You can't get away with being also a psycho. Like it just doesn't work like that. You can't have all at the same time. So
nutritionally undisciplined woman.
Yes. So let's think about it this way. Since she's so hot. And a lot of guys, they're fucking terrified out of their fucking mind to lose her because they probably only had she's probably maybe the only girl of that attractiveness they ever had. So they're gonna tolerate more shit from her. my instinct would immediately be to be even more strict with all the psycho behavior, to set boundaries, really strong boundaries really quick, because that would also, it would really make you stand out, because the guys who didn't do that, she would also perceive them as simps.
But you definitely have to set some boundaries, because there's a thin line between her getting her way and losing respect for you. Because if she feels like you're just a beta simp and she has you around her finger and she can do whatever she wants without consequences, then the worst part is not losing respect for you. Because if she doesn't respect you, like, men need respect in relationships just like women need love. Men are naturally born leaders. We're drawn to places automatically where we receive respect from other people, and you can't lose the respect that your girl has for you. Then your relationship is not going to be the same. Then you're just going to be another beta, and she's probably going to go cheat on you and fuck somebody else.
It's all about the respect, and it's also about the self-respect.
Yeah.
Because imagine if you don't set these boundaries. Okay, fucking, like, you lose the girl, like, who gives a fuck? You just walk out on the street, there's fucking 20 more in the next 20 minutes or whatever, at least here in Warsaw. You can't be a hot girl and, like, expect that you're fucking special here, because almost every girl is. If you didn't set the boundaries, you lose the self-respect.
Exactly.
And you're subconsciously telling yourself that just because she's attractive, she can behave any fucking way she wants, which is basically like her validation and her approval is more important than your self-respect.
In that way, you're going to end up losing her anyway. She's going to walk away from you, or she's going to cheat on you, so you can't just let that happen. And you're going to lose her anyway.
So at the end of the day, there's only one approach. You got to be fucking strong. You got to set the fucking boundaries.
And there's the other thing that you mentioned. You said, okay, let's say you lose her, and then you walk out and there's a lot of attractive girls and you have a lot of options. This is what I want to say to other men that are watching this. A lot of people are not aware of this, all right, what he just said. Beautiful women, men treat it like it's a scarcity. Men treat it like it's so rare to find a really hot woman. It's not. They are everywhere in the world. There's literally beautiful girls around every corner of every city in Europe, every city in Brazil, every city in Colombia. There you can find beautiful girls everywhere. There's an abundance of it. There are countries like Latvia or Lithuania where there's like a female to male ratio is like 10 to 1. So there's beautiful girls everywhere in the world, yet men treat it like it's a scarcity. Men treat it like it's rare. If that's the only deciding factor, man, you gotta let her go. Your self-respect is a lot more important. You have a lot of options. Hot girl is not something that's hard to find.
That's so true. And we could just boil everything down to this very simple truth. All of the problems in the dating market, it comes down to, at the end of the day, men are valuing them, they're mistaking them for Bitcoin when they're actually Dogecoin.
And there's no token burn happening anytime soon.
In the next couple of years, they're gonna have AI girlfriends.
Yeah.
There's gonna be more scarcity of guys who don't have AI girlfriends, which means that every woman has to step up. Because now, because look, I would probably rather have an AI girlfriend than a average girl.
It's happening. We were already like, okay, I already replaced my editor. It was a girl. Now she's replaced with AI. My lawyer is also AI now. I used to call a cleaning lady to come like clean my apartment every single week. Now I have one of these robots that just clean my apartment. So it's already happening. So imagine you get to have a girl that stays 20, looks hot all the time, and she doesn't age, and there's no drama.
Yeah, that's not a question of if, it's just a question of when.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Hopefully what happens is that since so many guys will just get AI girlfriends, so that the pool of available men just drops down drastically to like 1/10 of what it is right now. Because all the NPCs, they don't even leave the house, they just lock themselves in and they don't exist anymore. Every single one of them have to step up. And then what would happen is, you know how it was in Ukraine previously, where there were so few men, or so few like high value men or whatever, that every girl, they were like so into like beauty, self-improvement, and they even took like femininity coaching and all this shit. And that was because there was a scarcity of men. What if that would just become like a global thing?
You know what the result was after that, right? Since there was a scarcity of men, it's still, you can see it happening in all the Balkan countries, where you see a very beautiful girl dating a guy that looks homeless, horrible haircut, wearing Adidas track pants, goes out in slippers and socks and just smokes cigarettes. So you see like girls that look like models dating guys like this.
This is fucked. That's just so fucked.
What do you think about the current situation in Ukraine right now?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's a lack of feminism in Ukraine. I think that's the problem.
You think so? You think so? The fact that men
the
cannot leave the country and men have to forcefully be sent to the front line so they can fight, while women, Ukrainian women, come here to Warsaw. They go to Prague, they go to the US, they go to Germany, and they start getting new boyfriends, they start doing OnlyFans while they're men at war.
Yeah. You've lived in Ukraine, I've never been, so you tell me if this is true or not, but I don't think it ever really got there. Did feminism really get to Ukraine?
Not really.
No.
It was etched in the culture to begin with. Meaning that, I mean, I'm not generalizing, of course. There's girls who have different opinions, but this belief where, you know, men are providers, men pay for everything, men open doors, men buy flowers and presents regularly, which they call, you know, the basics.
Yes.
That's the type of feminism you get in Ukraine. It's not about women empowerment. They don't go out on the streets and protest saying, oh, we're stronger than men, we can do everything that men can. No, they at least accept the fact that men and women are born for different things, which is not a bad thing, okay? I do say that men are superior physically and emotionally in many cases to women, but that's not a bad thing. Let's say there's a hurricane. I wouldn't want the pilot to be a girl because she's more emotional. And just like that, there's things that women are better at. For example, I would never want a male babysitter for my daughter.
I totally agree with that. Also about, like, have you ever seen a woman be really, really happy when she has a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure, a lot of stress on her? Like, have you ever seen that?
No. It's not good for her nature either. She gets more masculine.
It's toxic as fuck. It's actually toxic. Yeah. It's so toxic. Exactly. Like, fuck, like, I've met so many girls who are like managers and, you know, lawyers and, you know, all this shit. They felt like they were becoming masculinized, and they felt like the pressure and responsibility and all of that stuff was becoming so fucking like overwhelming. Every single one of them. Versus if we have a lot of pressure and responsibility, like I'm happy, like I'm happier. I become fucking happy. Like I need to push through resistance. I need obstacles. I need challenge.
That's how we grow.
Exactly. So we love that. They hate that. Even making a simple decision like, what am I gonna eat for dinner tonight, can feel so overwhelming. Just look at yourself, look at your girlfriends. If you see the ones who have a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibilities, are they usually the happiest? Or is the happiest girl the one who is basically living with her mind switch off and her guy just takes care of everything?
Exactly. Man can make it easier for you to be a woman if you make it easier for him to be a man. We have some naturally assigned responsibilities in a traditional household, and I think that's when you get the best result. You know, when the man is masculine, working, handling all the responsibilities, and the woman is just as feminine as possible, relaxed, calm, because we can go through these struggles, and you have to stay away from it, because after a long day of work, this is the problem with a lot of masculine women. After a long day of work, a lot of challenges, the last thing we need when we come back home is another challenge, which is fighting with you, arguing with you, and getting masculinity from you.
I feel like that is what a lot of guys come to.
I mean, you're a man, okay? Your life is hard. Your life is already hard. It's supposed to be hard if you plan to grow in the future. Your life is supposed to be hard anyway. So don't make it even harder on yourself by adding a girlfriend on that equation that makes it even more harder and more challenging for you. Should, if anything, like pick someone that's gonna make it easier for you. Well, this is the message for the girls that are watching this. You think that your beauty, your hot body is the reason that a man will stay with you, and that's what you're worried about. I swear, if you can be a man's peace and calm and peace, he'll always come back to you. If after a long day he can just turn off his mind and just relax with you for 10 minutes, then he's always going to come back to you.
Absolutely,
we don't want equality. We don't want anything else.
Like no one wants equality. Why are we fucking pretending? Like, as a guy, you can't just have money. You can't have just that. You can't just be good looking, because it's going to leave a big gap where you actually, as a man, you need to be more well-rounded. Like you do need to be more well-rounded. Because look, every girl has had the experience where they spoke to a guy who were like, fuck, like physically he's a 10 out of 10. He opens his mouth, he falls to like a 3 out of 10 immediately. I think this is where women really fuck up too, is that they all hyper focus on looks. You go to the nail salon, you get your get your hair like permed or like whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know what it's called. You do the face mask and all this shit, exfoliating 3-step formulas and all this shit. What if you took 20 of those minutes, or like you delegated some of that time you spend on looks and you added it into another category of value? Because if every girl is only trying to compete on looks, then you're playing a fool's game by trying to maximize only that factor. If you're a guy and you only go to the gym, you become a gym cell. A lot of girls are actually the female equivalent of a gym cell because they only focus on the physical looks to improve.
Which mostly backfires, by the way, because most of these girls end up settling for one of each. It's like there's 3 switches, but you can only switch on 2 of them. So if the guy is good looking, you know, then he's not going to be rich. So that's why most of the girls end up with either an ugly guy, short guy who has a bunch of money. On top of that, she wears high heels and he looks like her kid. They either settle for that, or there's this guy in the gym who's, you know, tall, handsome, and jacked, but he has $5,000 in the bank.
Like that.
So it's bad either way. I think a lot of them are delusional when it comes to what they think will make them attractive to a high-value man. It's like this switch thing that I told you. It's like 3 switches, but you can only switch on 2 of them. It's like, okay, she's hot, she looks good next to you, but she's not loyal. There's this saying that men date who they can, or sleep with who they can, yet men marry who they want. And with girls, they date and sleep with who they want, but they marry who they can.
It is 100% true. It is absolutely fucking 100% true. Well, it's very, very simple. It's because these guys, they don't have to commit to you. It's gonna take a lot to lock in on one girl. It's gonna take a lot.
You just have to offer something that's unique, okay? Offer something that any other girl that you see on the street cannot offer him. Because it's not being hot. It's not having a nice body. There's plenty of other girls that can give him that. You have to give him something like peace of mind. You know, like looking hot, it's something that's replaceable. You don't keep your looks. Neither of us are gonna look the same in about 20 years. And there's always gonna be a younger girl, there's always gonna be a prettier girl, there's always gonna be another hot girl. And that is something that's replaceable. That's why I think you should focus on something that actually adds value and just compounds over time.
Being hot is like literally the bare minimum. A lot of women, they say like it's the bare minimum for a guy to have a job and do this.
Yeah.
Which is true. Like I also agree with that. But also being attractive as a woman is also bare minimum because
they will call you a misogynist for saying that. That's the funny part. Because when you look at the equilibrium, what men consider bare minimum, what women consider bare minimum. Okay, you want at least 6 foot tall, 6 figures in the bank, 6-pack abs, loyal to you, monogamous, and then they ask the girl like, okay, well, what do you bring to the table for all this? You know, we're talking about like 1% of the men in the world. She's like, well, he'll get to have me. I look nice.
Exactly. I'm like, okay, but like, what can you do? What can you give? I've never, ever encountered anyone who has been able to give me a really good answer to this question. Even though like if they had good qualities, they had amazing qualities, but they didn't know how to express it. And like amazing girls, great girls, like fucking high value girls, really cool, but they didn't know how to actually answer that question. And I'm like, because they couldn't even see it.
When you're a high value man, you're looking for a girl, you don't have super high expectations of her. Be feminine, be loyal, be honest, and just don't be a headache at the end of the day, on top of all the problems that I'm having. So it's actually very simple things, but when women answer it with entitlement, saying that, oh, it's supposed to be that way anyway, so like he's supposed to do it, instead of appreciating it, they're like, oh, well, he gets to take me out on dates, I have a nice body. And it's just so pointless, you know, like it's about the delivery, it's not about the answer. So we don't have super high expectations from women, this is what they get wrong.
You just have to be like that. You add to my energy by being around me. Just don't be annoying.
Just don't be annoying.
Just don't be a distraction. Just don't be a distraction from my structure. Just don't be something that pollutes my mind. Which is really, like, I'm not asking for much. But also, there's also another side of me that is also saying that, yo, if I'm a man and my looks is a relatively small amount of my value in the big picture, because I need to have mastery in so many other things.
Yeah.
Just how it is, because we need to be well-rounded. But if looks is such a small part of my overall value proposition, and I go to the gym 6 times per week, do cardio 7 days per week, fuck, it's kind of wrong if you are a woman and a bigger part of your value proposition is supposed to be that, but you don't even go to the gym as much as me.
What you're saying still comes down to the respect. Because if you're married to a girl, let's say you take a girl to an event with you, say it's a black tie event, you walk in and your girl is in your arm, people are going to look at your girl and they're going to look at how she's behaving around you, and they're going to judge you based off of that. Because this is just like any other decision, just like any other business, this is something that reflects you and your personality. If you come into, let's say I'm throwing a party and you come with a girl who's like, you know, overweight, rude, obese, and just sweaty and smells bad, and has a bad
really
attitude.
fucking bad.
Like, we'll think, and imagine like she treats you like trash, she yells at you in front of everyone. Well, what happens then? Like, all the guys around you is gonna lose respect for you.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, oh, look at this guy being a pushover.
Like, how are you
and
accepting
this girl
this?
is literally like pushing him around and just ordering him, and it was like, he's with that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna become part of his identity. So it's about representing your man the best way that you can, and I'm sure that he's gonna do like whatever he has to do on his side as a man to make you feel as feminine as a woman as possible. But yeah, that goes both ways. Just like I said, love and respect.
It's very true. It's very true. Like, also, like, now when I think about it, like, obviously, like, I will never put myself in the situation where it would be.
Never come up to my party with a fat chick.
I'm coming to your party with 10 fat chicks. But I'm bringing for everyone, bringing for all the boys. If I'm putting in a lot of effort into the person that I am, I'm only expecting at least as much from the other person.
I think it's important to just establish your expectations from the start, so like everybody knows what they're walking into. 'Cause yeah, your girl is a reflection of you, bro. Like, it's true. Whether she's your side chick, whether she's your girl, or whether she's your wife, she's always gonna represent you. So.
She could obviously be very good looking without doing any of those things. Maybe she has fucking god tier genetics or something. She's just born that way. I'm concerned about the mental pollution of being around someone who is not operating on a high level mentally. That can really fucking pull you down. I did a video for this for women, what their effects would be if they were dating a man who puts them on a positive trajectory versus a man who puts them on a negative. And it measured all of these things, like the emotional stress increases cortisol, which then, you know, increases fat gain, missed workouts, and like it all stacks up over like the period of 3 years. And like it was the most insane thing. It was like a 89% difference in like cognitive function. It took ChatGPT like over 20 hours to calculate this. That's how, like, I have like the research version. This also compounds over time. The longer you're in this, over time will have a dramatic fucking negative impact.
If it becomes a usual part of your daily routine, then it will have a big impact. That's why you see a lot of guys, he's in a relationship where he gets this negativity that slowly piles up over time. That's why you see like his before and after pictures of the relationship. Before the relationship, he's fit, he looks happy, he's healthy, he doesn't have bags under his eyes. But like after a relationship, he just looks like like an alcoholic, like he's tired, mentally exhausted. And that's what happens. And then he starts dating the right girl, and all of a sudden he looks like a ray of sunshine. You know, like, so it's very important. It's one of the most important decisions that you're gonna make in life. So that's why for both genders, I don't recommend settling.
I mean, instead they should just find like a good girl from Ukraine who's never heard about Dubai, right?
Oh man. And that's what I did for somebody in Dubai, actually. He reaches out to me, he's like, yo, it's impossible to date here, and I can understand why. Like, I stayed in Dubai for a long time. There's no such thing as love in Dubai. You can't find a normal girl in Dubai. She either has 15 other sugar daddies, or she works as an escort in Dubai, or she's a gold digger who's only interested in your money. So you just pay me a bunch of cash and say, hey, you got all these followers on your Instagram. Some of these are girls from like Eastern Europe. Girls from villages who collect eggs in the morning. girls who don't know what Dubai is. Girls who don't have smartphones. They don't have this Snapchat. They don't have this Instagram or anything, yet they look like models. They love staying at home. They love cooking. They love dogs. They love little kids. And they don't care about Chanel bags or Dior earrings. They don't have entitlement. They don't have super high expectations. Men will pay me thousands of dollars just to possibly find a woman like this. That's how much value they have in the market.
I mean, in a way, like I think it's actually worth so much more because
I definitely believe so.
The opportunity cost. The opportunity cost if he picked the wrong girl, and we think about it both in terms of like the positively compounding trajectories versus the negatively compounding, he has a lot to lose. He should pay you like $1 million straight up.
Exactly, that's what I thought, because like there actually isn't enough money that he can pay me. You know, I was working and I noticed my girl watching this show on Netflix when I was working. It was called Dubai Bling. And dude, people live in different worlds. There was a woman having an argument with her husband. They live on Palm Jumeirah on a $30 million villa. And she was getting mad at him because they live in a 5-bedroom villa and 2 of those rooms belong to her and it's her wardrobe. And she was complaining that she doesn't have enough space for all her new dresses. So she was like ordering him to buy the villa that's next door. So she can have more space, more wardrobe space in there.
Fucking crazy.
And the guy was like, well, you know, like that's another 35 million. Like I have some, you know, investments coming up. I have my own business. I can't just, you know, buy a villa so you have more wardrobe space. So she gets mad at him. And then she goes to Dubai Mall with his credit card. She just buys a necklace for herself for $2.5 million. It has huge diamonds on it. And there's a cameraman following all this, you know, just following her around the mall. He'd be like, you think your husband's gonna be mad? She'd be like, yeah, well, when he sees this on his credit card, we might have a small argument, but I honestly think he deserved it. So this is the world that people live in. And it's understandable that a guy would pay me, I don't even know, 50K, 100K to find a girl from an Eastern European village. That's probably her weekly shopping allowance in Dubai Mall, right?
Exactly.
You pay me the price of a few Birkin bags, and then I save you. Like, I'm not even talking about the money. These guys don't have a problem with money. Let alone the millions of dollars that I'm saving you monthly.
It's the mental fucking thing.
Exactly. I'm saving you a lot of headache. So.
No, straight up. Because, I mean, you know, like, this guy must be miserable. Like, he must be absolutely fucking miserable. There's no way that he can, like, justify this. Because, obviously, like, he has had to do a lot of, like, justification for himself, like rationalization, like excuse this for such a long time. But he can only fool himself for so long and like think that this is okay. Like at one point he's just gonna pop. Like it's probably gonna.
And you know that's gonna be fine for the woman, because during the time she's been with him, I mean they're married. He bought a beauty salon for her. He bought I don't know, like a tennis court or whatever. So she's set for life. So now she gets to just push him around and just demand things from him like that. I have nothing against Dubai. I love the city. It's a city that never sleeps. I like that. I can go there. I can work until 3 a.m., go to the gym at 5 a.m. But there is a serious problem with dating. Self-respect, man. It all comes down to self-respect. I'll give you one example. When I was in Dubai, you see a lot of expensive cars. Even the police have Lamborghinis there, all right? So if I see somebody who's fat, a fat guy stepping out of a Lamborghini, that doesn't tell me anything. That doesn't make me respect him. Because anybody, and I mean anybody, could get a Lamborghini in Dubai. You could pay like $300 a day to rent one. You don't have to leave a deposit. Or maybe he's just some fat Arab guy who was born into a rich family. And his parents just gave him like, here, Lamborghini keys for your 16th birthday. He just gave it to him like candy. He didn't earn it. He didn't work hard for it. So just stepping out of a Lamborghini, it does not earn respect. Yet, you see another guy pulling up, he's stepping out of a Lamborghini and he's jacked. That earns my respect. Because the second guy, the nice body that he has, that is something that can only be achieved with hard work. There's no other way around it. You could have $1 billion in the bank. You can't buy a nice body. You can't pay somebody to go to the gym and work out for you. It's going to be his results, not yours. So that's why I say it doesn't matter how much you make. Getting in good shape is one of the things that you should focus on, because it is very important in terms of getting respect from other people.
Yeah.
I just know that, let's say there's this fat guy in Qatar and he's wearing a Versace shirt, but you can see his belly just sagging down from here. I will literally look better than him wearing a $4 H&M t-shirt.
Yeah,
and I will get more respect than the guy.
Absolutely. You see, the reason why we respect these things is it's not like, wow, you're so jacked, bro. It's that we know how much it takes. We know how hard it is. Like, we also know that that's also what drives us. At least me, is probably exactly the same for you. Yeah. It's what I said in the beginning, and I really think that is where self-respect is built. It is by overcoming inner psychological resistance through external actions, and it could be going to the gym. It could be, you know, facing your fears in some way, but it's all about overcoming the inner resistance, because I bet there were hundreds of days where you felt like, fuck, I don't want to go to the gym. But you did it because, you know, this is what I got to do. And like, that is also what you felt was more rewarding, because that was actually what caused the internal like identity, you know, personal transformation.
Honestly, it's about being self-accountable. You know, like, I'm fully aware that I can just be lazy, skip the gym for a month and just lay down and eat pizza. I mean, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have to be accountable for it. Yes, people think, like, do you guys really think I have motivation to go to the gym every single day? No, absolutely not. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to get out of bed. Like, all my muscles are achy, they're sore from yesterday. I should probably go to get a massage and sauna, but no. That's why we respect it when a guy has a nice body, because it is a reflection of not just hard work, but also consistency. Because you don't just go to the gym one time and walk out with six-pack abs. That happens over time. It's gradual change. It's not instant like that. It just fades in over time. It's a form of dedication and hard work, and that's the only way to achieve and then maintain a nice body. It's the exact same reason I don't hire fat people. I hire fit people, because that shows me they can be consistent, they can be hardworking. I don't see that in a fat person. How can I trust you to be responsible and respect my time and money when you don't even respect yourself enough to go to the gym and get in shape?
Exactly. That's the thing. They cannot even be accountable to themselves. Like, they can't stick on a fucking diet. Why? Like, how could you expect them to stick to something that is less beneficial for them? Like, you know, getting paid by you is infinitely less beneficial than like getting in good shape. That's why you respect those people who have been consistent, because you know you can trust them. It's like when you see those things, they're like, he had to earn this. It's the same thing with, like, if a guy is confident, he also had to earn it. You're not just born with it. That happens because you put yourself in tough social situations.
Exactly.
It's like the gym, but mentally.
Seek discomfort. That's what I always recommend. Seek discomfort.
Exactly.
Because it's not the easy choice. You know, the easy choices, they're the ones that's easy to make. You know, it's much, much easier for me to just skip the gym today, just lean back on the couch and just watch TV today. That's a lot easier to do. It's a lot easier to just get my favorite snacks, you know, like eat my favorite cheesecake in a restaurant instead of this, I don't know, buckwheat porridge and chicken breast or steak. Yet, easy choices are never the ones that are rewarding in life. It's always the hard choices that reward you in the long term. Easy choices is all about cheap dopamine, you know, self-gratification, which usually ends up with men just throwing all their ambitions out the window. I say comfort kills a lot of dreams, a lot of ambitions. If a man is comfortable, if you're comfortable where you are, that's exactly why you are where you are. Comfort kills dreams and ambitions. If a man is comfortable, he has food on the table, he can order pizza from Glovo, he has an average girl, he has sex every day, and he has a Netflix show, he watches porn sometimes, all these cheap dopamine, and that's it. He will live the rest of his life like that. He will throw all his ambitions out the window. The real change happens when you stop being comfortable with where you are, especially if you want to change it.
I see it as literally like a life or death thing. Like, for me, it's not a choice. Like,
people don't change otherwise, bro.
Yes.
Life or death, or that's it.
No, I
People
mean,
don't
like-
change when things are good or comfortable for them.
Yes, exactly. Like every time I made like a major shift, it was always when I felt like if I don't fix it now, like I will never fix it.
Yeah.
And there's that moment when I really realized it, like I have to start now.
Yeah.
And I start, and I literally never stop.
You know that now that we mentioned the fat guy in a Lamborghini,
Yeah.
I want to mirror this situation to women.
Okay.
What do you think about the liberals who will let themselves go,
The liberals.
have these haircuts, dye their
Yeah.
hair pink or blue? The ones that believe there's like 50 different genders and all that.
I mean,
I want to hear your opinion.
just don't know what to contrast it to, because obviously, like everyone who's watching, I fucking hope you understand that it's absolute insanity. I mean, obviously, like everyone knows that the gender thing. Everyone always knew that the gender thing was insanity. I don't know why we ever allowed it or made it somewhat even socially acceptable to even question it a little bit. I don't know where that came from. We will look back at this time in history in like 50 years. I'm like, what happened in these 4 years where Joe
Schools,
Biden was
man.
president? Like,
Schools happen. You start from like the second grade, third grade.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be learning about like simple maths. They're learning about the 50 genders. What is a gay guy? What is a penis? What is a transgender? These are the stuff that they're teaching kids in the US. That's why the generation is so messed up.
Yeah.
So this was my theory. This is what I wrote down. This is a form of self-sabotaging behavior driven by low self-esteem, where someone already convinced themselves of their unattractiveness and they intentionally engage in actions such as unusual haircuts, clothing, or specific behaviors to reinforce their negative self-perception or push others away. This behavior is a coping mechanism. The person may feel that the rejection is inevitable, so they attempt to control when or how it happens by deliberately making themselves less appealing with these haircuts and getting out of shape and all that. So they protect themselves emotionally by feeling they've caused the rejection on their own terms rather than facing rejection directly from other people, rather than facing reality.
yeah, I mean, spot on. Like they're trying to take control of the situation. I mean, it's really that. It's really to restore the lost sense of control that that they didn't have. Like, instead of just literally turning yourself uglier to feel a sense of control, why not just become attractive? Like anyone can become attractive.
There was this viral video that I saw. Guy goes up with a microphone to two different girls. And the first girl is a really pretty girl. She's quiet and she's calm. And it's like, how many genders are there?
Yes.
And sadly, she whispers it. She's like, 2.
Oh yes,
And
yes.
he goes to the lesbian haircut girl, the LGBT plus girl, is like, how many genders are there? And she's like, it's a spectrum, so a lot. Then it's like hard to listen to.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that exact video. It was fucking
Yes.
disgusting. You've never seen an attractive girl like say any of this shit.
exactly. There was a viral survey which was done publicly on the internet asking parents who you would rather trust your baby with, to babysit them. Now, one part was Nazis, and the second option was transgenders.
Oh, I will trust it.
94% of the people voted for Nazis.
But would you also pick that?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's an obvious choice.
I could answer this question. I could genuinely answer this question by saying, go watch the Olympics in Paris, the opening ceremony where they mock the final meal of Jesus Christ with transgender fat people dancing around little kids with their bulges and, I don't know, their bowls sticking out of their shorts. Compare that to the Olympics in Germany, the openings they had in 1940s, and you'll see a huge difference. You'll see the crowd, you'll see the people, you'll see the celebration where everything is about, sports. Not about mocking Jesus and Christianity, which is also like shocking to me because I believe white Christians in Europe are now oppressed. A lot of people claim to be oppressed, but I mean, you're mocking the last meal of Jesus, putting a fat transgender lady on the table, and then like half naked people. Like imagine going to a Muslim country and then mocking their religion, mocking Islam like that.
That would not.
Imagine
that wouldn't end well.
Imagine the backlash. I mean, they would shut you down on the spot. They would probably, I don't even know, like execute all of you.
Oh, I mean, you would definitely be executed. Like, that's not even a question.
I mean, they're obviously sending a message. That opening ceremony had nothing to do whatsoever with sports.
White people are about to be exterminated. Like, I really think that's what's happening.
They're the minority in Europe right now. Usually, white Christian families, they have like 1 or maximum 2 kids because they can't easily afford to look after 3 kids or more. While there are Muslim families with 9 kids, 11 kids, immigrating to your country, living on your taxpayer money, and they can keep reproducing, it's fine.
Let's do like a thought experiment. What do you think would happen to Europe if we took in, let's say, Indonesia is also Muslim. So let's say if we took in 100 million people from Indonesia, do you think that they would be like fucking raping people and shit? Like,
No.
There's no way.
No.
So it's not about the religion, it's about the culture and that they are literally selectively importing the worst people.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that they could fuck this up so bad without it being like explicit like sabotage. It has to be sabotage.
I mean,
like, you can't fuck it up this bad. It's impossible.
You can see clearly through their agenda, like they want chaos. What do you expect importing? And all I see is men.
Yeah.
All I see is army-aged men.
Yeah.
With no jobs, no security whatsoever. They come in boats to the coast of countries in Europe.
Yeah.
And then they just spread around the city like
Sweden
like
is the worst. Sweden is the worst, I swear to God.
I heard that one of the cities in Sweden was considered more dangerous than Baghdad.
Yes, it's true.
It got more like explosions and
more bombings,
armed violence and more
yes.
bombings than Baghdad, basically. So and the Swedish government officially said like we can't deal with it.
Well,
the police can't cope with it. And
yes, they cannot. But why don't they just pull in the... Like, I don't understand why they don't pull in the military. It's been like this for like at least 5 or 10 years. They're like covering up like migrant rapes like crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how much they're covering it up. And like...
These people get away with it.
Yeah, yes, exactly. They're not convicting.
So instead of securing the borders, what do they do in England? They go and arrest dads for reposting things on Facebook.
Yeah.
There was a guy who was caught selling anti-illegal immigration stickers. He got 12 months in jail. There was another guy who reposted, I'm saying he didn't post it himself, he just reposted a post of somebody else on Facebook, and just because he caused anxiety to some immigrant, he got 24 months in jail. And then we have a Muhammad who raped a 12-year-old girl. He gets 40 hours of community service and he walks. Now, what do you expect from a government like this? You bring hordes of immigrants, which are all military-aged men, and they live on your taxpayer money, and they don't fear anything because they get away with pretty much everything they do in your country.
Sweden is so fucked, like I'm never gonna go back there.
I miss Sweden, man. I miss when Sweden belonged to Swedish people.
It used to be so good.
Men helvete, fan.
Helvete, fy fan, fitta.
Jävlar.
Yeah, it's pretty solid Swedish actually. It's very solid. The majority of feminists are women. And the majority of the people who voted in those very immigrants who are like probably the extreme opposite of what the feminists want, they literally voted them in. They could have stopped this like 15 years ago. Like the warning signs, they were obvious.
Yeah.
But you just blatantly like ignored them. But I can tell you why. It's very simple. It's because back in probably like the 70s or the 80s or maybe even the 60s, Sweden was doing so well. It was the richest country in the world, I think. So it became like a virtue signaling thing to be like, hey, we're gonna help as many people as possible.
There's nothing wrong with helping other countries. There's nothing wrong with helping people. By all means, Sweden, like you can help other countries recycle things because there's very, very good, very impressive waste management in Sweden. So by all means, help the neighboring countries. And we live out here in Poland, who also helps refugees. They took over 2 million Ukrainian refugees, which are also immigrants out here in Poland. I mean, I'm one of them because, well, I'm not Ukrainian, my nationality, but I lived in Kiev before the war started. So I got this Ukrainian refugee status here. What do these people do? These people don't protest violently. These people don't have an opposing religion that they try to force on other people. They don't go and vandalize stores, burn cars, like what happens in France and Germany. These people they can protest peacefully.
Yeah.
And they just blend in. So obviously, when you take a group of people, which is not likely going to blend in with your own people, with their cultures, with their values, with their religion, and with their mindset, there's obviously going to be chaos. It's not rocket science. It doesn't take a genius to understand this, but they import these people anyway. And at the end, you only get chaos.
I mean, of course, I totally agree. Yes, it's a massive culture clash, but like the biggest factor why it's like this is because they're selectively picking the lowest trash tier of people. Like, I don't think it has much to do with religion, to be honest. Maybe at all. Okay, look, there's going to be like value differences. That's for fucking sure.
It's education, bro. It's not religion. It's education.
Well, exactly, because I mean, look, like you could take people from any religion and like they could actually be peaceful, but it's because they're picking like the lowest tier trash people who are further like criminals, like
people have nothing to fear.
Yeah. If we're gonna import psychos, like let's import like 10 million hot psychos from Ukraine. Like Poland did. Poland were smart. Like
they contribute to the economy. Let me tell you this.
Yeah.
I went to one of the strip clubs here with my girl. And guess what? I walk in. All the girls that work in a strip club, the best strip club that you can find here out in Warsaw, guess what? They're all from Ukraine.
Well, of course. Yeah.
All from Ukraine. They recognized this when we walked in. And the Polish girls hate it because they've been replaced by these Ukrainian girls.
Oh, I know. They hate it so much.
So they sat
really
in our booth. Like, we got a lap dance from a few of them with my girl, and they just like sat in our booth. Like, so like, you know, how did you end up here? And she's like, you know, there's the war, and well, they sent my dad and my boyfriend to the front line, so I came here alone, and you know, I had to make money.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, she probably definitely.
They don't even know about it.
Yeah,
her dad doesn't know. Her boyfriend doesn't know. He's fighting off drones at the border, and his girlfriend's out here, you know, dancing on somebody's lap.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, bro.
Sorry, bro. How many Ukrainian girls cheated on their fucking boyfriends? That's so fucked up. And I mean, it's of course not only Ukrainian girls who do this, but it's very disproportionate, and it's much worse because they are women who are cheating on men who are literally on the front line.
Yeah, it's another sad reality.
Yeah.
In cases like these, you know, a man, a real man by nature, he's always willing to sacrifice his freedom and his happiness for his family or his relationship. On the opposite end, I see a lot of girls do the opposite, especially the ones that, you know, go here and do OnlyFans and work in strip clubs. They do the opposite. They sacrifice all their family values for their own happiness, for their own good. All right, so we're going to leave it at that. Guys, thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments, and let us know what was most impactful about listening to our thoughts on this podcast. And make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we'll see you guys on the next one. Give us some topics to discuss in the comments for the next podcast too.
Yes, in the comments, drop questions that you might have on any of the topics that we touched, or maybe some topics that we didn't even cover at all. Anything you want, any requests, just drop them there, and we'll see you next time.
This is Daryl, and that's Alex, and that's it for today. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.